Your relational health comes directly from your doctrinal health. In other words, what you believe about the truth is actually what strengthens you in terms of your relationships. Your life is as good as your relationships, and your relationships is as good as the doctrine, the truth, the theology, the belief, the core set of values in your heart of hearts. Here's how I put this. Your creed determines the strength of your crew. Your creed, what you believe, determines the health. You want to have a better marriage, you got to start with the right fundamental beliefs. You want to have a better relationship with your kids or your parents or your coworkers or your teachers or your employees or your employee. It all starts with what you believe inside of you. So when the Apostle Paul demonstrates relationship at the end, that's not inconsequential. It's not just a little note he's writing to some people. It's the proof that what he wrote in chapters 1, 2, and 3 is so important. Paul lives out his theology, and so should you and I. Here's the thing. It's not good enough just to have the inspiring speech. You got to believe it in such a way that changes your life. I played football as a kid. Did anyone here play football as a kid? I played middle school, high school. Didn't play college. I wish I could have, but I picked my parents poorly, and I wasn't coordinated for that. Man, I loved it. I played they say it causes brain damage, but I played every year. And I remember one time in middle school, man, we went out to play this team in Tonasket, and I thought we're gonna lose because we were flat in the warm-ups. And we went out there, man, and I'm telling you what, I was in the locker room before the game, and we're at the top of this hill that the stands were built on. And in our hometown stadium, the stands were also built on a hill, and the varsity guys used to come out of the locker room and run down this hill, and it was just awesome. It was just like a thundering herd of muscular men, football, it was like that. And so I thought, for this junior high team, I'm gonna give them this speech, and we're gonna come running down the hill at this guest stadium, and we're gonna have the same effect. So I gather all the guys together, and I'm like, we gotta go out there today, our whole day, this is how winning is done. And I give them the whole thing, and they start getting fun. I said, we're gonna run down that hill, we're gonna intimidate them so much, and we're gonna win this game. And this little kid named Donnie, he still had his baby fat. He was like that tall and that wide, and he believed me. He was like, let's do it. And he just ran out of the locker room. And so we just all followed him, and we just ran as fast. And we went down that hill at 500 miles an hour. We're just running. We're like, ah! And he gets down to the very bottom of the hill. Everyone's watching. And then he stops. Just stops. Like supernaturally comes to a stop and levitates. And I was like, what's happening? And in that millisecond of slow motion, I realized that at the bottom of their hill, they had put a little wire that we didn't have at the bottom of our hill. And he had literally run into that wire. It stopped him cold. It lifted him up. It stretched that wire out, and he became a human slingshot cannonball and shot back into 20 other middle school kids. And you had 50 elbows and knees of middle school in that huge, giant pile. The other team was laughing. The crowd we lost by 3 touchdowns, people. Sometimes the locker room speech isn't enough. You actually have to put the practice in and put the team together that can win the game.